Hey guys, thanks for being on our Monday night meetup. I am really excited because tonight we have a special guest, and then we're going to talk a little bit about onboarding our new customers and do a product training for Triplex. But before I waste any more time, I want to introduce you guys to my really good friend, Emerald Rachel Gallagher. She's going to talk tonight about her Plexus business. She's going to talk about how she uses the products really quickly. And Rachel, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule with your two kiddos and your husband and all the things to hop on our team call tonight.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me. Anytime Amy asks me, I'm like, yes, I freaking love her. Y'all are so lucky to have her. She's like real people. So like she said, I'm Rachel Gallagher. Sorry, my name is wrong. This is like our work Zoom. But I'm just going to jump right into my story about my business, how I got started, why I got started. And I don't know if I'm supposed to give y'all a tip, but I'm going to give y'all a tip. So here we go. So my story is I was a fourth grade math science teacher. I started the product. So I had previously done network marketing. So if you're someone who that is holding you back, or maybe you have someone that you're trying to onboard, or someone that you're like, dang, they would be so good at the business, but they've done everything else. They're probably not going to do this or whatever. There is hope that they will make it to the top of the company in this company. So I have done several other network marketing companies before. So I believed in network marketing. What I had a hard time finding was a company that had a good compensation plan. So I am a hard worker. I can say that about myself. And I know when I commit to something, I'm going to commit. So when I started Plexus, my co-teacher was on the products. I watched her for a little bit, and then probably like most of you do. And remember this, just as like a side tip, you watch someone for a while. So remember those people that you're reaching out to, they're probably going to watch you for a while also before they join you. So just remember that little tip, because I watched my friend for a while before I finally was like, okay, I'll try it. I felt great 3 days into the product. I felt awesome. I was drinking energy drinks every single day, probably 5 to 6 cups of coffee a day. That's not an exaggeration. It was horrible. Y'all teachers are tired. Okay. So I drank a ton of energy drinks, and after 3 days, I didn't need them anymore. And that's when I knew like, oh, these products are good. So that's when I had the belief where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to share these and see what happens. So I wasn't all in the business yet, but I wasn't out, So I made a post. Within the first month, I covered my car note, my car at the time, I was broke, y'all, like broke. I'm talking about like broke. Like, do you remember when you used to be able to run your card? So as long as you had like $1 in your account, you could still get gas, and you would just put your account into negative. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you've never been broke. If you have been broke, you know what I'm talking about. So I did that all the time. Like that's how I got to payday is I would overdraw my account. I would kind of rob the bank a little bit, play it, knowing that I had to pay the $35 overdraft or whatever. Like I did that. There was never a time I didn't go into the grocery store and look at my account first to make sure I had enough money. Like I remember this was a moment, like a pivotal moment in my life where I was like, I need to get it together. I went to McDonald's and ordered off the dollar menu, and my card got declined. Like that's how broke I was. And so when in the first month of Plexus, I had to get a new car because mine, like the transmission was falling out basically, and I couldn't really afford it. And so when I was able to cover my car payment in the first month, I was shocked. Like my belief was through the roof. I couldn't believe it, because as a teacher, you never got bonuses. I was a lead teacher, y'all, which means that I was like the head of my fourth grade unit, all the teachers. I got $300 extra a year. When I found out that was my raise, I actually asked if I could not be in that position, because it's a lot more work. And they thought I was joking. And I'm like, look, it's not that I don't want to take on the responsibility, but for $300 a year, that's like $17 a paycheck. And I'm spending hours and hours and hours and hours. Like it's not worth it, but they didn't demote me. So I had to stay. So that's it though, y'all, $300 a year. So when I was able to pay a car payment within a month and not really trying, that's when I was like, okay, this might be something. And then the second month I was like, all right, I'm actually going to like reach out to people, and I'm actually going to try. And I was able to cover our mortgage. At the time, our mortgage wasn't as much as now. It was like $850, but still that's huge to be able to cover that and take that relief out of my paycheck so I could actually buy groceries without overdrafting my account. That was huge for me. So I don't know what everyone's rank is in here, if you're brand new or you're, been in this a while or whatever, but never forget that there's people who are where I was. The majority of people in our common life are where I was. They can't pay for groceries. Now that inflation has happened, they can't, it's like they're having to choose gas, medication, or food. Like they can't do all three anymore. So remember that, and don't ever take for granted. Sometimes it's easy when we've been in this for a while, or if we are getting paychecks, we forget that people are still struggling, and a lot of people are. So That's where my belief was built. And so I ran with it, and I told myself, you know what? I'm going to give this a year. I'm going to really work hard for a year. And if it doesn't work out, I know it's not because of my effort. I know it's because the compensation plan isn't right. Because some compensation plans aren't right, y'all. There's a lot of compensation plans out there where they aren't built for you to make a lot of money. They cap you out. They have to do it where you have like funky leg situations, and Plexus isn't like that. So I gave it a year, and I was able to match my teacher's salary. What that looked like though was work. I'm a very real person. I'm not someone that's going to be like, you don't have to work at all and you're going to, cover your salary right now. I'm not that person. You get out what you've put in. And I know that y'all have probably heard that a million times, but you truly do. So I busted my butt. I would come home from work, from teaching. I didn't have kids at the time, and my husband was in the oil field. So I was home by myself a lot. So I did have that advantage, but still there's ways that you can work it in if you really want it. I would come home, eat dinner, shower. And then from that point until the point I went to bed, I was working my business. And what was I doing? I was reaching out to people. Most importantly, I was, sharing on social media. I was doing the things that were driving my business forward. So I did that for a whole year. I matched my salary. Then I was able to leave the classroom. And now it's crazy to me. I actually now have been doing Plexus longer than what I taught. I taught for 6 years. By the 6th year, I was completely burnt out. If there's any teachers on this team, I know there's a lot of teachers out there that do Plexus, but we get burnt out. It's not because we aren't passionate about the kids or we don't love the kids. It's all the politics that come with it, and the fact that you truly are spending so much time at school and so little time. And there's just a moment, there's this quote that I love. I'm going to butcher it. I love quotes, but I always butcher them. But it's something along of lines of, people either changed out of inspiration or desperation, but most people wait until they're desperate to become inspired. And I feel like that's where I was as a teacher. I remember, so like I said, my husband was always gone in the oil field, and he was the oil field that was like gone all the time. He wasn't like at the yard doing stuff there. He was like gone. I didn't know when he was going to come back. He was supposed to come back in 3 weeks. He'd call like, hey, we're out for another month, like that type of oil field. So I remember one time I hadn't seen him in forever, and he came home, and I remember I was like, I just can't right now. I can't talk to you. I don't want to go to dinner. I just want to sit here. And that's a moment, that was my desperation moment of teaching, where I was like, I can't do this the rest of my life. We don't even have kids, and I already am done peopling before I get home. Like my boyfriend, who we were dating then, but he's my husband now. Like, I should not be giving the people that mean the most to me the least of me. That's completely unfair. There's people now that I taught who I gave the most to, and they don't even know me. Like, I see them at the grocery store and I'm like, hey, and they have no idea who I am. So that's when I had a moment of like, something has to change. So if you haven't hit that moment of desperation yet, that's amazing. But change now, because when the moment of desperation hits, it sucks. And it's so hard to climb back out or to get inspired to do something, like whenever you're, heading down that way. So I have now. So I taught for 6 years. I've been doing Plexus for 7 now. So I did them both for 1 year. So it's crazy. To me, I'm like, dang, I haven't been in the classroom. Like, I don't even know what the classroom is like right now. So that's my business story. I truly love what I do. And I will be very honest, like I said, and say, it's not all unicorns and rainbows, and it's not. There's going to be times in your business that are hard, but my worst day in Plexus is definitely better than my best day teaching. Because what's awesome? Just now, right before the call, I'm in my garage because my daughter usually goes to bed early, but she's 2, and we were playing like, we have this little ball game where the ball goes down a million times, and we were just having so much fun. And I know if I was teaching still, I wouldn't do that, because right now I'd be stressing out about like, I got to go to bed in like 30 minutes. We got to get her to bed. I got to go ahead and get her stuff for school pack, because she would have to be in full-time daycare, but I don't. I'm like, you know what? She wants to stay up a little bit later. That's fine, because she doesn't have to do anything tomorrow. Like, we can hang out. She can stay in her pajamas a little longer. And that truly is the freedom that comes with this. So that's a little bit about my business story. Amy, did you want me to talk about pregnancy in Plexus? I heard you may want me to.
Just a little bit, if you're,
Okay.
I know you've been pregnant while in Plexus.
Let me get I have like 1 more minute. So let me put this in there. So I've had 3 babies now. I'm pregnant now. So I've had 2 babies, and I'm pregnant with my 3rd. I have a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, and I'm pregnant. So I have, through all my pregnancies, been on Plexus. I've lived in a couple different places. So I've had a few different doctors. All have approved it. I feel great during it. Thank you. And what I love about it the most, y'all, is I've never had to deal with any sort of gestational diabetes. My numbers on my labs, the doctors are always shocked. They're like, you have amazing labs. What are you doing? Every single doctor asks what I'm doing. Every single doctor has looked at my prenatal and was like, take that over another prenatal because this stuff is good. I take the Mega X. It's great for brain and heart health. I take the Triplex and I take the X Factor as a multivitamin or as a prenatal. And I still take Active. I take, what else do I take? I take Hydrate. It's awesome for like restless leg. It's awesome for hydration, which is a big issue with pregnancy. There's just all those products are kind of my staples that I love. And my doctors have been blown away. A lot of them are like, I just like, you're one of the healthiest patients that we've had. And I still, y'all, before I was pregnant, drank margaritas and Mexican food. Do I try and live a healthy lifestyle? For sure. But it's not that I do anything crazy that anyone else doesn't. It's just that I take great supplements. So if you know someone that's pregnant, if you know someone that's nursing, I've also nursed both my babies till a year old, and I had great milk supply. My babies rarely get sick. They take our kids' multivitamins. So it's just an all around product for everyone. So when you're thinking of someone, when you're thinking about growing your business, think about all different categories because so many people can benefit from this. It's not just the people that are in your life category.
Thank you so much. So what is your one tip? You said you were going to give one tip.
Yes, my one tip is do not prejudge people when you share about the business. Well, I guess lead with the business. So when my business explodes the fastest, I have a new, like I'm pushing for Sapphire right now before I have this baby. That's my biggest goal. I only have talked about the business in the past 2 months, and I have a gold, someone about to be gold, and these are people that were brand new in the past 2 months. A gold, someone about to be gold, 3 people that are going silver this month, 1 going senior silver, and it's because I'm only sharing about the business out. Because if they say no to the business, you can fall back on the products. But if they say no to the products, what are you going to do? Like, oh yeah, do this with me. They're going to be like, I just told you no. So lead with the business. People are going to say no. People are going to ignore you. But also there's going to be people like me who are getting overdraft fees every month, who couldn't pay their bills, who are praying for something like this. And you have something to offer, and you never know when you reach out, when you're going to touch that person and completely change their life. It sounds very cliche, but y'all, it's true. And it happens. I would not have this life right now if someone had not reached out to me about Plexus.
Thank you so much. And what's
You're
true,
so
guys,
welcome.
is that it's not like she was posting on social media that she was overdrafting her card to get to payday, right?
No.
People aren't
Y'all,
sharing
people
this.
thought I had like the most fun life. I went out all the time. I was the happy hour girl. I was the yes girl. I was going to concerts. No one had any clue how I was broke. I told not a soul. I actually went home from work one day and my electricity was turned off.
Yeah.
Guess what? I slept in the dark and I told no one. Not even my husband knew because I did not tell him. He was out of town. He did not know.
Yeah. Well, so that's
You know?
why we can't project and just assume because you see them living a lifestyle not to talk to people at the business. Talk to everybody about the business. So thank you, Rachel. I know you got kiddos, you got to get in there.
Thanks for having me.
So
Bye, guys.
much. So I hope you guys really enjoyed hearing from her. I just know it just reinforces every time I hear a real story that I'm going to have Rachel in my head when I'm reaching out to somebody about the business, right? Like she said, she needed this business, but nobody would have known it. But her sponsor is Joe Renfo. They talked together and she just told her about the business because why not, right? Don't assume that somebody needs it because they can't afford it, or don't assume they wouldn't want it. So that is a great reminder for me. And a lot of times, so many times during our business, we say, oh, I don't have any business builders. Like, how do I get some business builders? I really would love some people to do this business with, but I don't have anyone who wants to share. Well, like Rachel just said, is that all you're talking about? Are you talking about the business? Or are you already talking about the products? So you guys have any questions or any feedback about that? If you do, unmute yourself, drop it in the chat. I'm going to shift gears and get ready to share my screen for the next topic on tonight's call. Okay. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, let's present. So tonight on our little business training, what we're going to talk about is how to help your customers. Specifically, how to help your customers onboard, right? What is your onboarding system? And that is just a fancy way of saying when you get a new customer, then what do? Because if you make it dependent on the person or the customer, they will always fail your business. But a system doesn't. And a system itself is nothing more than a series of steps that you take, just like in your business now, like wherever you work or have worked. So if you're a realtor, there are certain steps you have to take when a house goes under contract, right? Or there's certain steps you have to take when somebody is interested in a house. And you do that for everyone. Everyone basically goes through the same steps. When I worked in higher education, we had the same procedures we had to do for certain work tasks, okay? The onboarding for your Plexus customers is no different. The actual system itself doesn't even matter. Doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't matter what you do necessarily, as long as you have one, okay? And I'll give you an example of when systems will not fail, but people will, okay? A great example is the onboarding system says that no matter what, you add your VIP customer to the wellness connection and you get a picture of them and you make a welcome post, okay? The person though says, don't add me to any Facebook groups. I don't want to do that, okay? Well, guess what? That person then just failed your business. But the system, if you did it anyway, wouldn't, right? And what's going to happen when that happens? People stay for Plexus with relationships and connections. People work the business because of relationships and connections. People get through detox and die off because of relationships and connections. And that's what systems help do. I was the person who told my sponsor, do not put me in any Facebook groups. Had she listened to me, she wouldn't have. I never would have caught the vision. I never would have seen other people working this business and having success. But because she had a system and she said, I'm sorry, all my customers go in this Facebook group. It's so you can have the best experience on the products. Okay, whatever. Thinking in my head, I'm not going to pay attention to it. But it didn't matter. She followed her system. So you want to have a system for all of your new customers, okay? And what is it and what does it do? It's simple steps that you take, okay? It helps to keep your customers supported and consistent on their products, but it also helps you as a business owner. It actually keeps your business simple and easy, especially when you have fast growth. So if you earned the watch last month, you added 6 new customers. That's a lot of people to take care of. And if you're letting each of those people dictate how you run your business, that's 6 different things you're doing for all those people. But if you have one system that you use for everybody, you're doing that repetitively over for those 6 people, okay? It also helps build relationships and community, and it reduces fear. People are still nervous when they buy Plexus. So when you have this great system, like, hey, I'm so excited for you, I'm going to add you to this group, I'm going to send you this getting started guide, and then we're going to get on the phone, it reduces the fear they have. It also reduces the fear you have as a business owner, and it increases your confidence in owning a business and doing this Plexus business, okay? The other thing these systems do, it levels the playing field. And what I mean by that is the minute you start talking to someone about Plexus without even realizing it, you are modeling for them what it takes to work this business, okay? So as soon as they order, if they get added to a group, they get an instruction sheet and they get a phone call, you're already telling them this business is so simple, anyone can do it. You can go share with someone and do the same thing to help them get started, right? And again, to reiterate, it builds those relationships and that community, okay? So it doesn't matter what your system is. Do not make it hard. And it can change a million times, all right? This is a simple system that you just want to make sure you can do for everyone. And
I'm
because,
not sure I understand.
Sorry, Apple. Because then you've done it for your new customer. Guess what? When they get a new customer, they're like, oh, I'm just going to do what she did. And then you get duplication. That's how I started my business. Sarah Taylor, despite my stubbornness as a new customer, added me to her group, sent me a welcome email. And that's then what I did for all of my new customers. I sent the exact same email and I added them to the group. Okay. So one simple system that you could use if you don't currently have one, add everyone to the Wellness Connection group and welcome them, right? And welcome them personally, like by saying things like, this is my friend Michelle. She ordered the reset. She's really excited to try it, but a little bit nervous that she's going to be hungry. Can you guys welcome her to the Wellness Connection? And if you've done the reset, give her your best tip, okay? Then you want to call them on the phone. You want to FaceTime them or Zoom them. Which one doesn't matter? What matters is that you do this at least within the first 40, ideally within the first 48 hours after they order, or before their products arrive. And for some people who are near a distribution center, like it happens fast. I had a new customer get her regular order within the 48-hour window of her ordering. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so fast. So when you're on that call or that FaceTime or your Zoom, there's usually 4 things you want to make sure you talk about. You want to share their excitement. Because when you get on the phone, they're going to be excited, but they also still may be a little bit nervous. Like I was still super skeptical even after I bought my first triplex, okay? So you want to talk to them about it, how to begin their products. You want to set expectations with them, like what to expect on whatever they ordered in the first few months. You also want to set expectations on how you're going to be checking in with them, okay? And then you want to show them that referral link and you want to talk about the silver bonus. And this is where that system's so important because people are projecting or they're letting the person run their business. So when the person says, I don't want this business, they're dropping that from their system and letting the person run it, okay? Versus doing it for everyone and saying, look, I know you told me you didn't join for the business, but I pride myself in my business on letting everyone know what is available to them and not having to pay for your products if you don't want to. So let me show you where to find your referral link. You never know who you may end up talking to about Plexus, okay? Send them a getting started guide, a board, a video. Again, just pick one. There's so many. Nicole made a beautiful one. I'm working on a new Wellness Connection one. I'm working on a new welcome video for my personal customers. And if you don't want any of those, we have getting started guides on the team page saved in an album. Sometimes I do that really quickly. As soon as someone orders, I grab the triplex graphic and just send it to them, okay? And then if you want, you don't have to, but my system, I like to send a thank you note or a gift card, or not a gift card, a thank you note or a card and a gift. So I will show you guys what I started doing. I bought these super cheap little zipper bags on Amazon, bulk, and then I bought these iron-on, these are like the Chanel iron-on letters, super cheap. So I give them this bag and I give them some stick samples of what they didn't order, like flavors they didn't order, especially if they're my reset customers. Now, if somebody just ordered a ProBio, I may not do this, but certainly for my new VIPs that order a welcome pack or my new retails that get a reset. And then I have a little gift card. I have a postcard that's got my family's picture on it. Actually, let me just show you guys real quick because I know some people were asking me about it the other day. Let me just grab it real quick while we're talking about it. Let me find it. It's right here, I promise. And I did this on Canva from a template. I literally used somebody else's template that they have loaded on there. I threw our picture on it. I changed the wording and I printed it on my little travel printer that we still have from when we lived in the RV. So it does not have to be hard or complicated or expensive, but I like the personal touch. So here, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Wellness Connection group. And then I have a little blurb about our family and why we started Plexus. That's the front of the postcard. And on the back, I thank you again and a few tips to get you started. I talk about drinking water, keep me in the loop, stay consistent. And I'm with you every step of the way, okay? So again, That's my system. Doesn't have to be your system, but think about what you do with your new customers. What does your system look like? And you want to keep it simple. Let me get back here to sharing my screen. Where were we? And then, again, let me see the chat. So you can change it a million times because I've completely, like, these are brand new. So if you were a customer a few months ago, you didn't get one. Am I going to go back and change my system with all those people? No, this is for new, right? This is my system for new people. So don't worry about the perfect guide or the perfect board or the perfect thank you or the perfect time to Zoom, right? Just follow a system. Then you know exactly what to do when you get a new customer, okay? Any questions on that? Any feedback on that? No, we're going to move to the last few minutes of the call, and this is our Triplex product training. Yes, and so Jamie, I will send you guys I can send you the Canva link for that postcard if it's easier to start from mine and then just make it your own if you're not familiar with Canva. I'm happy to share any of that. So let's talk about the Triplex really, really quickly. This is our foundational regimen. Now, I still think everyone should start with the reset because it is fabulous. And like, I can't say more about my personal results on it. But then if I could get everyone on the Triplex, I would. So it's the 3 products together. It's the Bio Cleanse, the Probio 5, and the Pink Drink. And this is really what helps balance your gut. And if you watch my Trust Your Gut training, you know that the gut is responsible for basically everything: immunity, metabolism, mood, your serotonin, your autoimmune disease, food allergies, seasonal allergies, skin issues. All of that is kind of impacted and caused by the gut. So the Triplex really helps to get rid of the bad microbes in your gut that are causing the kind of leaks to get the toxins through. And then it feeds it with good probiotics, right? BioCleanse also helps get rid of the toxins. And then the Slim, you guys know, helps regulate your blood sugars and also provides some beneficial microbes. So let's just go quickly into each of the 3 products, right? So the Pink Drink comes now in 2 versions. Hunger Control is one, and then the Microbiome is the other. I actually had a customer the other day say she wanted Slim. She didn't want that. Oh, you can't see? Sorry, Nicole. She didn't want Slim. She wanted Hunger Control. So I was like, oh, okay, well, we have 2 Slims. So sometimes you got to explain that. So both Slims help with blood sugar regulation. Both of them do all of that. They all have the chromium. They all have the Plexus Slim patented blend. They all do that, okay? But Slim Hunger Control has extra fiber in the form of polydextrose, which is why the stick's bigger, to help you feel fuller longer. It's going to actually help reduce your desire to overeat, okay? Which also helps reduce unwanted microbes to create space for beneficial microbes to actually thrive, okay? It is clinically demonstrated to help people lose weight, slim in general, but okay? And then it also helps reduce hunger, supports that healthy glucose metabolism. And of course, if you mix it with water, it's gonna help you stay hydrated just a little bit, okay? So that's Slim Hunger Control. You can have up to 4 of these a day. It comes in 2 flavors now. The original Slim Hunger Control comes in the blood orange lemon lime flavor, or it comes in my personal favorite flavor, which is the black cherry lime blossom, okay? Then we have Slim Microbiome Activating. Sometimes you'll see this called Slim XOS, Slim MA, okay? Again, does all the same blood sugar and glucose metabolism, but it actually has, instead of the extra fiber, it has prebiotics in it, okay? These prebiotics are food for probiotics. So it's actually helping your gut repopulate and multiply certain strains of bacteria much quicker and faster, okay? It increases lactobacillus by up to 365 times and bifidobacterium by up to 290 times. Those two strains of bacteria you will find in many clinical studies, including clinical studies that are coming out over that virus that turned into a pandemic a couple years ago. Those two strains are so important for so many things. And this drink increases your body's production of them, like it helps them multiply by that much more. It also increases the bacteria Akkermansia by 250 times. This is the bacteria in your gut microbiome that's responsible for your metabolism. So Slim Microbiome also helps with weight loss. It just does it differently, right? It does it by helping the metabolism boosting microbes in your gut, whereas Hunger Control does it so you're not overeating, okay? The other thing this one does, and the reason you'll see it called XOS, that's the prebiotic in it. It's actually a big long word called zuliosaccharide, but it's abbreviated XOS. So sometimes when we're doing shorthand, you'll see Slim XOS, and that's the microbiome. It also comes in 2 flavors. So the original one is a raspberry lemon watermelon. It also though comes in my favorite, which is black cherry lime blossom. You can take both of these, okay? There are many times in my Plexus regimen that I'll take a Hunger Control in the morning and I'll take a regular XOS in the afternoon. You can certainly do that. We get a lot of questions about which Slim should somebody take. And it really, for the majority of people, doesn't matter, okay? There was a thing going around that people with thyroid disease should only do Hunger Control, and that doesn't matter. But if you have somebody who has major gut health issues and they cannot, like a digestive issue, and they cannot handle extra fiber, then they probably need to be on the microbiome. And so sometimes I just ask them, when people say, help me choose, I'll say, how can you handle extra fiber? And they will say yes or no, okay? The other thing to be aware of, if they're on the Slim Microbiome activating, because it's helping all of these good bacteria multiply a lot, they may have a little bit of die-off. It's totally possible, right? As those good guys populate, they're crowding out the bad guys, and the bad guys start getting a little grumpy. So totally possible to have a little bit of die-off on Slim Microbiome by itself, okay? Probio 5, guys, is the star of the show. And this is kind of the gateway Plexus supplement. If you have somebody who has some health issues and they can't afford the full triplex, Amy Morton was one of these people, get them on Probio 5, okay? My neighbor across the street, she bought a reset. She just messaged me yesterday and wanted to know if the reset came with a probiotic, and I said no. She's like, oh, I think I need one. I said, listen, I'm going to give you a bottle. You're going to do your reset. I'm giving you a bottle of Probio 5 to try, because I know then she's going to be getting the triplex next month, okay? This is unlike anything on the market. Probiotics are everywhere. I literally was at a wine festival on last Thursday, and we went by one of the tables, and I heard the guy say the wine has good microbes to help with your gut health. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, everyone is talking about it, okay? There are dog food commercials now talking about probiotics. There still is nothing like Probio 5 on the market because of 2 things, the antifungal and the digestive enzymes, okay? And some people take digestive enzymes separately. So what that does, a digestive enzyme just helps to really break down the food you eat into teeny tiny particles, makes it easier to digest, and makes it better on your stomach, okay? So a friend of mine, she actually is allergic to beef, and she has to take digestive enzymes with every meal just because she's got some gut things going on, right? This has it in it already. It also has the antifungal, and this is what makes it so effective, but it's also what gets people into some die-off. So most probiotics on the market, they'll have 50 billion CFUs, okay? For 2 reasons. One, they're hoping most of those even make it down into your intestines, okay? A lot of them don't. especially if they have to be refrigerated. If a probiotic has to be refrigerated, how's it going to be effective when it hits your body temperature? It's not, okay? The other thing that does is they're hoping by having those high numbers, they'll just like crowd out all the bad yeast. Probio 5 is like, forget that. We're just sending in an antifungal and we're going to kill the bad guys off. So that's what it does. That's why it's so effective. But it's also why we start everybody at 1 and bring them all the way up to 4, get them through any sort of detox and die off, and then drop them back. Okay. So if you have anyone who's a new customer and they have not gone up to 3 or 4 Probio 5, you need to take them up there. Okay. So it also helps improve your natural response to that gut imbalance. It promotes your pH level in the gut to help keep that in a nice, healthy balance. It also contains a little bit of vitamin C. It also has some antioxidants in it, but the powerhouse of Probio 5 are the enzymes and the antifungal, okay? And then BioCleanse is an incredible magnesium supplement, but it's not like a lot of people think they don't need BioCleanse because they already go to the bathroom regularly, or they're like, oh, I don't need like a laxative. That's not what it is, okay? And when you couple it with Probio 5, they are a powerhouse together. So it does help get rid of these unwanted toxins that the Probio 5 is killing off. Because if you're killing off the bad guys with Probio, but you're not getting rid of them, guess what happens? They just get reabsorbed into your bloodstream, and that's not good, right? So it helps cleanse the gastrointestinal tract. So even if you're somebody who's regular before Plexus, like I was regular, but I still wasn't getting the actual oxygenation from the BioCleanse to actually clean out my intestinal tract and get those toxins from like holding on to the intestinal walls, right? It's going to help with bloating and gas and discomfort. It does promote regularity. So whether you're constipated or you're too loose, it helps bring you back into a normal bowel function. It does have antioxidants, does have some vitamin C. And there is some studies out there that shows a magnesium supplement can actually help improve the quality of sleep in older adults. But the majority of Americans are actually deficient in magnesium. Especially women, we're almost always deficient in magnesium. So somebody asked on the page the other day if we had a magnesium supplement, and BioCleanse is it. But just know that while you can certainly be on Probio 5 by itself, like I said, when you couple it with BioCleanse, it really is a powerhouse. And when you put all 3 of those together, that is the Triplex. So thank you guys so much for being on. I hope you like kind of the new format of Monday Meetup. We're going to try still. We're 10 minutes over tonight. I'm going to try to keep them for 10 minutes, 10 minutes, and 10 minutes to keep it at 30. So thank you guys for being on. Bye, guys.